I'm being joined by Mr. Samson Omodara. He's a legal practitioner and former publicity secretary of the Nigeria Bar Association in Ikeja. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, I'm sure you've seen reactions on the dailies this morning. You have Buhari floors Atiku, Buhari defeats Atiku at tribunal. But there's this interesting one, Buhari's tribunal victory predictable, that's coming from lawyers. Do you share that perspective?
I do share that sentiment too, because from the scratch, ab initio, if a lawyer, you have been appearing in court, if you see the presentation of matters in court, you know. You may not be 100%, you may not be 100% sure of where the pendulum tilts, but to an extent, you know, the 58%, 70%, you will know definitely this case might likely go this way.
So what were the pointers for you at the onset? What are the things you saw and you thought, you know what, I think this will end this way?
Well, if you look at history, election petitions in this country, it has been difficult, really difficult to invalidate any presidential election. Aside from presidential election, other election, governorship election, election petition is just sui generis, a class of its own. You need to be extra, how do I call it? You need to put much energy.
You think they didn't put much energy?
They did, but it's really difficult to upturn a finally elected candidate.
The question is, should that be the case? Should it be that difficult?
Well, like I said, every matters has its own class. That's why I said election petition is sui generis. They must be able to prove that that election was not conducted in substantial compliance with the electoral law and the constitution.
Right. So there's this other headline, front page, says Buhari defeats Atiku at tribunal, PDP heads for Supreme Court. So I understand, or I believe there should be some form of debriefing after each judgment is given from legal practitioners with their clients. I'm sure right after the judgment, perhaps the counsel to the PDP and Atiku met and said, you know what, this is what we're going to do. So can you run us through, how does that debriefing process work? And I mean, I hear that they're heading for Supreme Court. So what are the issues that will probably be discussed at the debriefing moving forward?
There is no new issues, no new issue that probably come up. Appeals will have to be anchored on whatever has transpired at the presidential election petition. No new issue will be introduced at the Supreme Court.
So you don't see
no new issue will be introduced. It will be anchored basically on what has transpired at the tribunal. And the issue will be distilled for my lord to see whether my lords that probably decided in concurrence with each other actually erred. That's what will happen there.
Right. So there's also this issue of the time it took. 4 months, about 4 months. And a lot of people say that, you know, while this dragged on for 4 months, according to them, they feel that a lot of things were, in quotes, in limbo in the country. Imagine an administration that is waiting, as it were. Imagine that is waiting for a judgment. Imagine, you know, people also waiting for that judgment. You have investors also waiting. Do we jump in now? Do we step back? I'm sure you understand that perspective. So the question is time. How do you think this went regarding time?
It's even better now. Either to the election petition could go on for years, but constitutionally now it has to be conducted and judgment delivered within 180 days. And luckily enough, this one was done about 177 days. So we are still in order. Unlike before, when you have to wait till like 5 months, 10 months, 1 year. We've had elections for 2-3 years here in the past, and that was what informed the amendment of the constitution to ensure that election matters are dispensed with within 180 days.
Is that why people are calling this a landmark judgment?
Yeah, well, if you say landmark judgment, maybe from the angle, from my own perspective, I look at it from the view that the concurrence, the unanimity of opinion of ratio decidendi by my lords, all the 5 justices agreed that this election was conducted substantially in accordance with electoral laws and constitution. And that's my take too.
Now, a lot of people are of the opinion...
Until it's upturned at the Supreme Court.
All right. So a lot of people are of the opinion that judgments like this will set a precedence for the future. I mean, during this judgment, you could see, you know, Justice Garba referring to previous judgments and what have you. So what effect do you think this judgment will have moving forward on election litigation and what have you in the country?
Well, like other elections, petitions, decisions that were taken in the past, this one we also, what I would say, has also enriched our jurisprudence. There are issues that are raised now the issue of qualification of the president not having been qualified to contest for that election, issue of Vice President Atiku, former Vice President, not being a Nigerian. Those issues have been settled now, except my lords at the Court of Appeal at the Supreme Court changes the entire scenario.
Yeah, now, speaking of my lords, according to you, now this is for benefit of people on social media. So I realized that a lot of people were wondering why they could not see the face of the judges. I'm sure you might want to clear the air for them. Why couldn't they see, especially for the live transmission? Is there a rule as to that you cannot see just for their benefit?
Ideally, it's not too ethical for judgments to be heard live, but because of the magnitude of the importance of this judgment to the entire nation, and that's the reason. It's a very conservative profession. Ordinarily, you are not supposed to carry television and start, this is what happened, except you want to report what happened as a journalist. It is not expected that you begin to show the faces of justices while reading judgment. It's not too good.
So you think that perhaps they should not have been aired live, or?
I am not saying so because of its importance. It could be heard live, but the issue of whether their faces were seen or not, I think that is understandable for we as lawyers.
Okay, so another issue that came up, and I'm sure this was part of the discussions during the NBA week, which was concluded just a few weeks ago, and that's the issue of social media. I remember some of the counsels talking about how social media partly influenced, the procession or the procedure during this particular case. But we know that social media has come to stay. There's the issue of fake news. There's another issue of, swaying public opinion by putting out things that are not exactly true. That's perhaps fake news. So how is the NBA and the body of lawyers going to handle this moving forward, such that social media on its own does not entirely affect the outcome of judgment?
Well, it is not within the purview of NBA per se to do something about social media. There's not particularly nothing anybody can do,
but that
except
was part of the
security agencies.
Okay.
WhatsApp groups should be monitored. Social media should be monitored generally and look at it. If you have sent out fake news that could probably destabilize the country, such a person should be held responsible. Partially, there's nothing anybody can do about it. You cannot ask me to start monitoring your WhatsApp group or somebody's Facebook account. But this can be done by the intelligence agencies.
So I was looking at figures. Now, during the election, 15 million people voted for President Muhammadu Buhari, according to INEC's result, and 10 million for the PDP's candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. So as it stands right now, around 10 million, it's fair to say 10 million Nigerians are not exactly happy with this judgment. I mean, just inferring from these figures, it's safe to say at least 15 million are happy. So there's that issue of, judgments are given, and then there are two sides. A side is not happy, and you can see that on social media. Another side is rejoicing. So what would you say to both parties, such that, we move forward?
That is the essence of democracy. If you have approached, I'm happy former Vice President Atiku has approached the tribunal electoral petition rather than taking laws according to good justice. That is admirable. But it's banned that a party must win, a party must lose. And the other party that wins will also definitely rejoice. The other party that loses may not be happy. And there's another opportunity for such avenue for ventilation of such grievances, which they have declared that they are approaching the Supreme Court. That's normal. That's normal.
So what I'm trying to say is, if you could speak to both parties, first the party that lost, what would you be saying to them as a form of coping mechanism?
Ideally, if you look at other crimes, civilized crimes, it's about service. I don't see why we want to die because I want to serve the country. If you put yourself forth, intend to serve the country, and the country say no, please, can you wait? Let's allow this man to finish his 4 years. Come back. You have to wait. I will not contest now and I lose an election and I want to die for it. I want to serve. If the people say, oh, please, can you wait? Or we are not accepting you. Why do I have to kill myself for such something? So I think we should learn to what I would call sportsmanship. If you contest and you have lost, take it with all equanimity.
You're saying try again another day?
Yeah, try another
So
time.
what about for the other party, the party that is excited and perhaps...
Yes, if you are successful as a party, you have contested, you have won. You have this magnanimous heart, magnanimous in victory. And people that may not like you today may like you tomorrow. I will not say in PDP they are not good guys there. You look there and look at people that can move this country, that have genuine interest in moving this nation forward. Call them, and the nation will move forward.
So
that's my take.
Right, and I'm sure they're listening to you, so I really hope they take this moving forward. There's also the question of the quality of election litigation in the country. We have tribunals, not just the presidential election tribunal, there's the governorship election tribunal and other tribunals in the country. What would you say, how much of a quality do you think our election litigation is in the country at this point?
Well, I think we have quality lawyers, quality judges. And when a case is bad, it's bad. There's no magic you can do about it. Matters are decided on presentation of facts. That law will also be brought in to look at the facts, and judgment will be delivered. If you have a bad case, your case is bad. There's nothing anybody can do about it. There's no magic. So the issue of quality of election litigation, the quality is there. But if you have a bad case, there's no magic. There's no lawyer probably that will perform any magic. If like other litigations, if you have a case in court that the case is bad, there's nothing you can do about it. You just advise your client to throw in the towel.
Now, the
rather than wasting the time of the court.
The reason I ask is, now, I was looking at the PDP's response to this judgment, which I'm sure you have probably seen. And some of the issues the PDP raised is that, you know what, they believe this did not go the right way. So apparently, as it were, they are perhaps putting the bulk at the system, the judiciary system that is handling this case. So if you're saying that it is, as it were, perfect, are you saying there's no room for improvement, or there are no areas you...
I am not saying that.
So what areas do you think we can improve
in fact, the fact that they are going to Supreme Court now, I'm happy for it, because it will definitely enrich our jurisprudence. It will enrich our jurisprudence. What my lords at the Court of Appeal may not see, or might not have seen, my lords at the apex could see such, and the table could turn. Nobody could say 100%, as we speak today, despite the concurrence of the justices, the unanimity of their opinions, was a ratio that's standard. You could get to Supreme Court and my lords there say something different. So we cannot say 100% that, oh, that's the end as we speak today. Well, as we stand today, that is the law, because I'm a realist. The law is what the judges say the law is. That's the way we learn law.
Because I'm looking at the statement from the PDP saying it described as shocking that the court approved the flawed declaration of President Buhari as a winner of the election, despite evidence to show the perpetration of illegalities, manipulation, alterations, and subtraction. So obviously, it appears as though the PDP, obviously...
They will definitely be aggrieved.
But these are key issues
they are entitled to saying such.
Okay.
As a lawyer, I will not subscribe to such statement, because I know my lords, my noble lords, they are wise men. That's why they're there. And every one of them agreed that this is the way judgment should go. So I stand by what has been pronounced by the judges. So
if you're saying this is not how the PDP should react, how do you imagine they should react then?
I would have expected them to keep their gunpowder dry, approach the next court instead of lampooning the judiciary, because that's a way of lampooning the judiciary. I wish I would not, as a lawyer, because that's where I belong. I won't be irresponsible to take such a statement against the judiciary of the nation. Remember, in the past, they have also benefited from the same judiciary. In Zamfara State, as we speak today, the entire structure there, the entire governance structure there is in PDP's hand. Fair, caustic judiciary. What are they saying? So if it favors you today, you'll be happy. If it does not favor you tomorrow, that's not too good.
Right. So just before we go, your parting shots before we end this.
Well, I want to admonish every stakeholders in this country, every stakeholder, that we should please put hands on deck to ensure that this country move forward. That's my take.
Right. I think we'll just leave it there. Mr. Samson Omodara is a legal practitioner and is a former publicity secretary of NBA Ikeja. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the program.